6. As you can tell, we've got a lot of heavy activity here tonight. This evening, the crows are calling. We're hearing tree knocks, footsteps, and a strange howling. Another one's gone missing. There's clearly more to the story. Despite the dangers that are present with me in this forest right here, right now, I'm going to stay the course because there's an important story I've got to tell you, two actually, and I'm going to get them told without him, her, it, or they running me out of here, okay? So let me set up my stuff. Okay, so last week I made a video in which I told you about how there was this dog eating / livestock kidnapping and eating bear in our county that they finally dispatched, and so they therefore thought that they resolved the problem, took care of the problem. Then I mentioned that a few nights after it was dispatched, another sheep or goat or something went missing. Well, I have been asked by close friends to break out my old red circle, blue rectangle, green arrow, and my inside out blaze orange toboggan cap hat thing and get back out there in the field and look for him, her, it, or they in their part of the county, same county, a little bit over though from me, because it took their cat. It took their cat just last night. They heard their cat let out a ferocious screech, and then their cat was gone. They went outside. They have not seen their cat, no trace. This thing or these things have been taking pets around here for years. It's only until this spring when livestock was being taken that people seemed to raise the alarm and care a little bit more about what was going on. They blamed it on a bear, but once they dispatched this 8 feet tall, 400-pound black bear, the disappearances have continued. So I told my friends, you know, I'm telling jokes on Facebook now. I'm telling jokes on here. I'm not really doing the cryptozoology stuff that at all really anymore because I got burnt out. I just got tired of being harassed and stalked and had some close calls with him, her, it, or they, and I was tired of putting my family in dangerous situations, so I got out of it. And they said, please, Crazy Lake, you're the only person we know insane enough to go out looking for these things, and we've got it. We might never get our cat back, but we've got to know who or what took it and what we can do to get it to stop. You know, and I told them, just based upon my knowledge of these things, you're probably going to have to start gifting if you want to protect your other animals. But once you start that, you can't stop, or they're going to take whatever they want. So anyway, the jury in my mind is still out on whether or not I'm going to open my storage closet in my office and break out my old research tools and get back into it out here in the forests of the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia and track down that which is not supposed to exist yet again and capture it on video yet again, like we did in October of 2019. But I might, because these people are really close friends to me. So with that said, I'm going to get on to story number 2, as far as there's more to the story. Many of you who've been here for a long time have probably heard me tell this tale before. I like to use this picture because it depicts the story I'm about to tell you. I'll tell it again quickly. Many of you have probably heard it elsewhere. I'm going to tell it because there's actually more to that story as well. And I just kind of had this aha over the weekend while talking with some young people. So the story is this. There was a Native American Indian grandfather talking to his grandson about these 2 wolves that live inside all of us. One is a good wolf, a positive wolf. It's upbeat, it's well-intentioned, it's kind, it wants the best out of life, it sees the best in everybody and the best in all situations. Then there is a dark wolf, a negative wolf that is pessimistic. It only sees the bad, the negative, sees the worst in everybody. We all have flaws. We're all flawed humans. The negative wolf inside us picks out those flaws in our fellow humans and focuses on that and neglects the 95% of them that is good or positive. And within us, the grandfather tells the grandson, these wolves are constantly fighting to take over total control. The good wolf wants us all, wants us in our entirety. The negative wolf, the pessimist, wants us as well in our entirety. And the grandson asks the grandfather, which wolf wins? And the grandfather very wisely answers, the one that we choose to feed. Okay, so if we're having negative thoughts, we're just in a bad mood, we're having a bad day, we're gloomy, if we dwell on those negative thoughts, they will multiply and we become even more depressed. We get even more down. Same thing with the positive thoughts. If we focus on the blessings, I've heard it said, if we focus on what we have, not on what we want, we'll see that we really don't need anything. Focus on the good in people, focus on the things that are going good in your life. Our positive attitude will multiply as well. It can be hard, but there's a guy, and I'm going to give him a plug here. He's got a channel. It's called Counselor's Couch. Jim Stump says that if you change your thoughts, you can change your mood. That's so true. So when you find yourself being down, maybe somebody's ticked you off, and you're thinking about all the times in the past this person ticked you off, and why didn't I cut them off then? And it just makes you feel even worse. Stop having those thoughts. Get those thoughts completely out of your head and think of something else. Think of something pleasant. Think of something positive, and you'll find that will also change your mood. Very good advice given by Jim Stump. Go like his channel, Counselor's Couch. I've got the link to his channel in my description box below. You get a lot of great advice there. So I was with some young people over the weekend, and it was a team that I coach. We had a championship celebration because we won our division championship. And these are great kids. My son's on the team. And we not only coach these same kids in football, the other coach and myself, but this is our basketball team. So we're with these kids 9 months out of the year, and we've been with the same group for several years. We're watching these kids grow up with our sons. The other coach has a son as well that's part of the team, and it's just been a wonderful experience. And while we were together this weekend, some of the kids were talking about some other kid at school, not maliciously. They weren't backstabbing. They were just talking about how this individual's very pessimistic. Keep getting my 6. You never know who or what you may or may not see back here in the background. But they were talking about how this individual is very pessimistic, always negative, very critical. And even when he does something right, if you congratulate him, like, hey, good pass or good catch or something, he will find something negative. Or if you do something well and everybody's high-fiving you, he'll come by and give you a little slicey, dicey, negative, critical comment that will bring you down off your high. And it reminded me of this story, and I told the kids this story. I even went and got this picture off the wall and told them. And this is when I realized that it's not just us who feeds our wolves inside us, the good wolf and the bad wolf, who's constantly fighting to gain our entirety, be it all good or all bad. But other people feed our wolves as well. And we have every right to choose who we will allow to feed our inner wolves and who we won't. For example, I, my wife, our son, we go out of our way to surround ourselves with positive people, like-minded people, optimists. And the people on our team, the children on our team, their parents, most of their parents were here. These are our kind of people. They're positive, they're upbeat, they pursue goals in life, they achieve, they accomplish, and they pass that work ethic on to their children. And if they have shortcomings like us, I have failed more than anybody I know in every area of my life. But instead of focusing on the failures and trying to find an excuse, especially to blame somebody else for that failure, I look at what it is I could have done differently to have succeeded, and kind of shift focus and focus on doing more of what could be done better, and not doing what I know leads to failure, and focusing on the next one. Like when the kids miss a shot in basketball and they start to get down, I say, no, think about the next shot. Let's focus on the next shot. Don't focus on the one you just missed, and don't focus on the one you just made, because if the game's not over, you got to make more. So likewise, I choose to cut negative, pessimistic, negative Neds, negative Nellies out of my life, because they're feeding my wolf. And I told the kids this, not in these exact terms, but listen, nobody has the right to just come over and piss in your Cheerios. If you're a positive, upbeat person and you enjoy whatever it is you do, be it your, for me, it's my horticulture, my gardening, taking care of my property, making it look like a resort, my exercise, my writing, my reading, my content creation for the internet. I love these things. My wife, my kid, our time together, the things we do together. We love to go camping. We love to travel. We love to go into town and just go for a walk around the campus or around, the historic downtown part. Nobody has the right to see me doing what I enjoy, or to see me and my family being upbeat and positive and come over and piss in our Cheerios. People that have done that, or people who would do that in the future, have been and will be cut out of our lives summarily and not allowed back in. Because when you open the door to let them back in, it all just starts back over again. So I told those kids, I said, look, by all means, never be mean to this guy you're talking about. Never go out, don't ostracize him. Don't do anything differently than you're doing. And the kids were talking about how they go out of their way to try to pump him up, try to be kind to him, and he just doesn't want to accept it. I said, listen, be kind. And I know we're in this big kindness is free movement, and I like that. But be kind to the point to where other people mistake your kindness as a weakness and attempt to exploit it for their own personal gain, even if it is just that they are sociopathic in nature. And something about belittling others, especially in passive-aggressive ways in which they think the other person is not smart enough to figure out that they are belittling them, makes them feel better. They have overstepped their bounds. They have mistaken your kindness as a weakness, and it's time to not associate with that person any longer. Now, you don't have to be mean. You don't have to be insulting by any means. It's just, if you see them coming, it's perfectly okay and recommended to turn around and go the other way. It's perfectly okay not to acknowledge them, because they'll, there's something about that negative energy and spreading that doom and gloom and pissing in people's Cheerios that drives those people. They are allowing that dark wolf to win inside them, and therefore they want to share that dark wolf with others by feeding other people's dark wolves, because misery loves company. And plain and simple, these people are miserable. They want you to be miserable because misery loves company. So therefore, it's not only important that we watch which wolf we feed inside ourselves, but it's just as important to be very cautious about who we allow to feed our wolves. Because the people that we associate with, unknowingly, if you're not aware of this, if your emotional intelligence level has not yet gotten as high as others who have, like myself, have worked on this for many years, everybody you interact with is feeding your wolf with their wolf, the wolf that they feed the most. So if you get around that guy, and they're very subtle, and listen, it's taken me years to understand this. Toxic people are not bad people. Toxic people are not bad people. Many of them are very nice. Many of them are somewhat kind. They'll often enter your presence and ask you how you're doing, and they'll wear a smile and think, oh, this is great. But within minutes, they're complaining about whatever it happens to be that they're not happy with, which generally is life in general. Now, people vent. I understand that. But we've got to understand that you've got to reach a certain level of permissions, a certain point of permission in somebody's life to be able to vent. I have close friends. I have very good friends who, if they were to vent to me, I wouldn't have a problem with it because they have reached that permission point. An acquaintance, somebody that you speak to occasionally, like a coworker or a neighbor, somebody that you're not really friends with, if they approach you, they're pleasant for a minute or two, and then they start venting, they've not reached that permission point yet, and what they're doing is they're feeding your dark wolf, which is in you. No matter how much you feed the positive, yin and yang is real, opposites are truth, it will always be there. They're feeding it without having reached a permission point to do it. Now, if it's a good friend, somebody you've known for years, and they're venting, you understand, because like I said, we will not befriend someone unless they are positive, optimistic. So I have friends that are positive and optimistic who need to vent sometimes, and as a friend, they can vent on me anytime they want. But it's so rare because these people, being like-minded as they are, know they're having a bad day, or maybe this thing's not so right in their life right now, but they quickly focus on what is right in their life. That becomes their focus, and like Jim Stump says, by changing their thoughts, they change their mood, and the need to vent has dissipated. Also, listen, before you go there, here's some great advice for people who, listen, constant chronic complainers who claim they're only venting. No, you're not. You're a constant chronic complainer. Two things: either get therapy or get a gym membership. Go buy a pair of running shoes and actually use them. If you don't run and you can only run for 3 minutes before you have to stop, great, do it. Tomorrow, try to run for 4. The next day, try to run for 5. You do that every day for 2 weeks, and you'll find that you're running a couple of miles a day, and your desire to what you think is venting, but which is actually constant complaining and criticizing, will be dissipated because you'll feel so much better. Now, I know it's easier to go get a 12-pack of your whatever domestic light beer of choice, and I'm not a teetotaler, and I don't say don't ever do that, but if you do that daily to deal with your ires, you need to replace that chemically induced high with endorphins produced by the part of your brain that kicks in when you're out there exercising. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but my point is this, and these young people were very responsive to this, and it was good to see that, because I wish I'd have learned this much earlier in life. We're talking middle school kids here. I didn't learn this until I was well into my 40s. No one has the right, if you go out of your way to feed the good wolf, to be positive and upbeat and change your thoughts so you change your emotions, no one has the right to come into your presence and feed your bad wolf with their bad wolf, their negative wolf. And the best thing you can do if these people are entering your presence is exit their presence and stay exited. As time passes and they feel like they want to, oh, let's be buddies again, no. I mean, unless if they've gone through some very serious psychotherapy and have some sort of major change in their life, just, it's not worth it. I'll end on this. I had a friend down here a couple of years ago who was coming through the area, and she stayed with us. And she was going the next day to see her parents, her mother and her father, both of whom were and are very abusive. She's 50, early 50s. They're in their mid to late 70s. They abused her and her siblings physically, mentally, emotionally throughout their childhood. Some of her siblings no longer have contact with her parents. She feels that as the oldest sibling, she should, like it's her responsibility. The night before she left our house to go see her parents, it was about a half day's drive to get to where she was going. She was up all night, throwing up and having diarrhea because of the anxiety associated with being in the presence of her parents because they are so toxic. She knew that she would have to listen to every single mistake, hear about every single mistake she ever made in her life. She would have to listen to why her divorce was her fault, why some of the problems her adult children were having was all her fault. And I said to her, why are you even going there? Why would you even go there? Look at yourself. It's 2 in the morning and you're throwing up from both ends because of your anxiety associated with being in the presence of people who have allowed their dark wolves to take over their entire existence, and whose dark wolves seeks it out and latches onto your dark wolf and pulls it out to the point that it makes you sick even thinking about going there. We have a choice. We don't have to allow those people in our presence. We don't have to allow them in their lives. Even if we share DNA with them, we do not have to allow them in our presence. Listen, let the right ones in and fight hard to keep the wrong ones out. And you're going to have problems. My life's not perfect. I'm grateful and blessed, and because I focus on my blessings, and therefore I'm grateful. I mean, I could go through and come up with a list of things that are wrong and things that are unpleasant and things I wish were different. But I'm not going to, because when that becomes my thoughts, that becomes my mood. I focus on what's right. And look at that. We ran off the crows. We ran off the him, her, it, or they, the strange growls. We ran this demonic, potentially demonic presence out of here with the positivity of light. And the light of positivity. So I hope this helps somebody. Last time I made a video like this, somebody said in the comment section that I wish I could remember your name, I'd give you a shout out. They just found out that her husband has cancer and he's only got a couple years left. And she's got a friend who's constantly complaining about all her problems and all this doom and gloom. And she doesn't want to hear it right now, because she wants the time she's got left with her life's partner to be spent focused on him and, you know, doing what they can together. And she felt good having somebody pretty much confirm to her that she doesn't have to have everybody in her life who's always been in her life, and it's okay to shut some people out. The sooner you start shutting those people out, the better off you're going to be. So that's it for today. I think I might go open up my storage unit in my office upstairs and break out the blue rectangle, the red circle, the green arrow, and the inside out toboggan hat, because something's going on a few miles west from me in our county, and well, I might just spend some time this summer trying to get to the bottom of it. So I'll let you know if I do. I'll even take the camera with me and record some footage. See you for more next time here from Homesteading Off the Grid, the most popular homesteading channel on the internet that has nothing to do with homesteading. Thank you for your support. We now have over 1 million followers and subscribers on this channel, the Facebook page, Homesteading Off the Grid, and our Facebook page, Sick Twisted Humor. Go over there for some laughs if you're not there yet. See you for more next time.